Hello everyone, today I'm working on this U23b and it's brand new. I never get anything new. This is an Atlas obviously, and it's so nice to get something new. And this one, these engines you have to put on the all the handrails. I get that's a snowplow, a couple extra horn hook couplers, and I get it out of the packaging here. These you have to install the handrails yourself, and they're at the bottom of the packaging. Just gonna remove the styrofoam. So on the bottom here is all the handrails and also the instructions. I actually really enjoy installing all these little parts. Makes me feel like I'm participating in the build, almost like when I was a teenager and I would build model cars. It became partly at least my creation. They put some little pieces of tape on here on the side. So I'm just going to remove them. I have all this nice baggie of parts and instructions. So that I'm sure that's going to come in handy. Now, before I made this video, I did try it before using my power pack and my test leads. I always do that just in case something's wrong and I have to return it. So this I found did not run. So let me show you what's wrong. There's no need to clean this, of course. It does look brand new. So I can hear the motor wants to go, but something's blocking it. It's like the locomotives in park. My feeling is probably there's something in the drive line that's interfering or out of place. So I'm gonna have to take it apart. I have a feeling that this thing was bought new and it was returned to the store because it didn't run. And so I bought it. The description on eBay said sold as is, I have no way to test it, blah 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 blah. So I could have returned it and gotten my money back from eBay, but since I paid so low for this, I decided to keep it. I think to get the shell off you have to remove the two couplers, and then that should make it possible to get it off. It looks a lot like a Cado, somehow similar, but we'll find out here pretty quick if it's all the way like a Cado. I've seen that in N-scale where other manufacturers copy Cado. By the time they do that, Cado's already one step ahead. But yeah, car companies, the same thing. I see them copying one another. If somebody comes up with a really good invention, the next year everybody's doing it. I mean, there's good and bad to this, but I for sure respect the car company that spend all the R&D money to invent all that stuff. Usually that's a sign of a company that cares, you know. They have passion for what they do. Just copying everybody is not too good for your street cred. It's really very similar to a Cado. Cado has these pins here that hold the engine, and then you just put your screwdriver under here and pry very gently and that will release it. Yeah, I don't want to wreck this detail. That's the safety brake. I worked around the shell and I just released these pins, just one at a time. Now, obviously, these are the pins that you're working on. Obviously, you don't want to put the handrails before you do that. I'm going to make sure this thing runs 100% before I put the handrails back on. Right away, I can see that the motor is not aligned properly. That shouldn't prevent it from running. And there is resistance, so when that happens, don't force it. We're going to be looking for something that's out of place, maybe a U-joint. Maybe there's an extra part in the bearing here. Actually, that's where I'm going to start. I'm going to start by removing that. And also I'm going to try and find out which side has the issue, because that looks cool. Actually, this one's moving maybe a little bit. No, it feels stuck, 100% stuck. This one too won't move at all. So I'm going to remove the little plate here that holds the truck to the frame, and then we'll see where we're at. This looks like DCC compatible. So there's the 8-pin thingy. You just replace your DCC on here. Very cool. So the worm gear covers are easy to pop out, but everything's held together with these wires. So I'm going to remove the 2 contact strips from the side. So far everything's like a Kado, so you just pop out this cover, and then you can remove the side frames. Then you can remove the 2 little contact strips, and these will just sit to the side while I'll take the whole gearbox out, and the wheels, they'll just fall out, so may as well just take them. And then I'll remove the whole gearbox when I loosen the pin holding the worm gear. And then once you have the worm gear off, once you have the little cover off, everything just falls in your hands. Here we go. Then here's your worm gear with the little drive shaft, and then the little cover just falls right into your hands. So these are the little pins you have to loosen up, and then that goes over here like that. A little bit hard to show inside the engine, but that's it. And then let's just see if we have gearbox problems, which I would be surprised. That is pretty straightforward. So that rolls great. And then, hang on. Then it's about the worm gear. Let's see if that rolls. It's a little bit stiff, but it does roll. Actually, it is way too stiff. That is way too stiff, so I don't get it. It's like the bearings were stuck on there. Probably the wrong type of lubrication. I don't know, or it just sat there on the shelf for too long. Now that I'm playing with it, it just loosens everything up. I am going to put my Label 108 on it because it's a very lightweight oil. So that should loosen everything back up. Just a drop is all you need. Yeah, that's all it is. I think the original lubrication just sat in there on the shelf for too long, and that kind of blocked it. And I'll reinstall that in there. And then that should be easy breezy and lovey-dovey. So that looks really cool. And then I'm going to reinstall the wheels just to double check it. There's a bit of extra lubrication there, probably doesn't hurt, but I just don't like the looks of it. Let's just get rid of that. Make everything look good again. Let's put my finger on the bottom because the worm gear will just lift. Yeah, so that's it. That side's ready to go anyways. And let's just check out the other side. The other side's the same, it's still very stiff, but I think that's my issue. Just the lubrication solidified in there over time. I'm gonna reinstall all this side off camera. And I'm still gonna clean my wheels with my rag. Just cause they're not dirty, but since I have everything in my hands, might as well. It doesn't really take that long. Yeah, take the side frames off because everything is wired together, so I can't just remove the gearbox without removing the side frames. So these just go back on like that, so. It's tough to line it up from the other side because I can't see. And then this will hold the two side frames together along with everything else. Perfect. Now I'm going to do the exact same thing to the other side. I decided to test it just for fun, but look at that. Didn't even get to the other side. I'm still going to clean it though. At this point it runs super well on the bench. So let's just go try it on the track. Check it out. I'm going to put some power on it. It's a real slow runner. I'm sure glad I didn't send it back. And quiet too. Now I can put the shell back on. Putting the shell back on is easy. Just so we remember the front of the engine is here. So that's kind of cool. And then just shimmy this over. And then there's 3 pins that lock it in. So that shouldn't be too hard to do. Just slide them in there. Actually, they should click into place. I'm gonna go easy on it because it's still brand new. But that shouldn't be too hard to do. Yeah, they just snap inside. So once it's snapped, you're good. Let's have a look at some of the details. The openings here, they're well modeled, well molded. Although on the real engine, they're see-through. We've got number boards and windows and the brake wheel. Here's the bell and the horn. So it's got all the bells and whistles. Yeah, I think this smokestack is a separately applied detail. So that's kind of nice. I've got to whip out the handrails now. So there's a neat little bag with all the handrails. You can see there's some grab irons provided. I want to put the grab irons on before the handrails. So these two here go to the front, and these are all about the same size, except there's a smaller one here that goes on the top of the engine. And here's the important question. Is that gonna be hard to do? Looks like not too bad. You want to leave them sticking out a little bit, that's for sure. I'm going to do the other ones off camera. So this is what the back looks like and the front. And then take your time while you're removing the handrails from the sprue. If you leave some of the sprue on the handrails, you will see it. So I'm taking extra time to do that. They provide you with some cut levers, which is also pretty cool. I put them on before the couplers. That gives me a little bit more access. So putting all the handrails in wasn't such a chore. They're a little bit flexible, so if you push on them a little bit, it won't wreck the engine. So I put my couplers last, and I put the snowplow last, and then you have this little walkway that I find lots of fun to play with. So I don't know, I think I'm going to leave them down. The same for the rear. You have a working little walkway plate, which is kind of cool. And now it's time to run some trains. Building a shelf layout like this also gives you the opportunity of running longer trains. Hope you enjoyed the video. See you soon.